Hello everyone, welcome to our now every other month update on the house. We decided to do it every 2 months instead of every month, partially just because it's a little more striking when we do. It's beautiful here. It's a little cold, but it's beautiful. Not much in the foyer here. Eventually we're gonna can't get my door shut. We're gonna redo this room and make it into a nice little cozy area and stuff. But for now, it's where we feed the dogs, or at least keep the dog food. But we've done a lot of stuff here in the shop. This will eventually be our full workshop space where we dive into everything. But in the meantime, we've gone through nearly every one of these shelves. We took over 2 tons of metal out of the house. We still have a lot to go through, obviously. Like this hammer, we might not end up keeping, but you don't know. I mean, yeah. This is the part where we've really started actually renovating and redoing and getting ready to start using so that we can start making soap and candles and curiosities and stuff again. So it's kind of neat to see it. Lindsay coated it with a layer of paint so that we can actually see things in here too, which is also very nice. And it's really opened the shop up a lot. Just getting the bulk of madness out of here. And some of the cool stuff we found, like we found entire piles of like 1920s mining magazines and old radio magazines and stuff, which has been quite fun. But yeah, so the shop is getting there. We're really wanting to get the shop up and running, but there's really no point in trying to get it up and running until we get everything to a point that we can actually run it. The living room has seen a striking change since you last saw it. This is all Lindsay. She's a crazy person, but this is, for better or worse, this is all Lindsay. We did take off the dark piece of plexi that was on there, and so this room finally has some light, which is nice. And then she has painted all of the walls this lovely green color, and I think it works really well. We will eventually pull all the panels off and put new insulation in and everything, but for the time being, it looks nice. And I don't know if you can tell from the video here because the light's kind of weird right now, but this wall and this wall are both the original plaster underneath the paneling that we've pulled down. We didn't do it for the other 2 walls just because there is the lower half here that was exposed and it's gonna have to get covered, so we decided to hold off on doing the other walls for now. We have started painting, and by we, most of this is Lindsay, just for the record. We started painting the men's room, and we are just doing just a plain white paint job in here. That's the color it used to be, but the white will look a lot nicer against this old tile. Eventually, we're gonna tear everything out of all of the bathrooms and redo them. But for now, we're just giving them a fresh coat of paint. These are some of the old books that we found in the shop that we were going through. Most of those are over 100 years old, and they've got a lot of dirty fingerprints and things on them, but they're neat. Not a lot has changed in this part of the game room, or the rec room, whatever you want to call it. Just some rearranging. We moved our table to the back here so we could put some more games out on it. I put together a Lego. But on this side, we pulled the drop ceiling down, and it looks so different from the oppressive drop ceiling that's on this side compared to over here. It is completely covered in what they are calling beaver board, is what it's called, and it's sort of a pressed paper pulp product, sort of a cheaper plywood, basically. It's kind of unique looking, but eventually we'll probably end up taking it down just because it is sort of, well, it's kind of falling apart and it's not real strong. There is plaster up underneath it, but they used so many nails installing this that we can't imagine the plaster is going to be in real wunderbar shape. This is where we've started taking the boards down. I can't remember if that was in the last video or not. And we will eventually be exposing all of this nice looking beadboard and more beaver board of a different type that is similar to what is in the bathroom right now. Kitchen's kind of a disaster. Look at my hair. Because I haven't gotten a lot of dishes done lately, so I'm just gonna give you a peek. Our fridge is working again, which is nice. Hooray! We have curtains up over most of the doors right now just because it is a little chilly outside, and we have the pellet stove up and running again now that I've emptied it out, and everything's just a lot more open now that we've gotten things put away and we've taken care of a few things. Devin spent the night here the other day, so his bed's still here because I haven't taken it back upstairs. Or say, I know you were just out there. You can't fool me. So yeah, that's our downstairs. We have the bathroom and the hall still. The hallway, she's started doing a full layer of paint on it as well as a patch job. And eventually we're gonna pull that old fluorescent down and actually just rerun those wires up and under to that old lighting fixture that we found up there so that we can have a proper light in here instead of that awful flickery fluorescent that was here previously. And it's kind of a neat looking old fixture. We're finding most of the stuff in here is very basic materials as far as building is concerned, which is not necessarily surprising, but the basic material from 100 years ago is still better than the cheapest material we can get now, so that's a plus. This bathroom has started getting repainted and having its drop ceiling pulled down as well, and once again we're just doing just a nice white and black paint job for it for the time being, until we can pull everything down and strip it out and put in some real tile and a new sink and everything. But it looks huge without the drop ceiling in it too. It's amazing what a gloomy sort of brownish drop ceiling can do for the color of things. Aspen, say hi. And that is floor number 1 of Cryptid Hollow. Let's move on to the next floor.